All right, well, Brandon, I'll ask, what did you see on this offensive pass interference call? Right call, wrong call, or should there not have been a call?
Well, let me ask Nick a question real quick. Nick, where's the Rams? Where do they play ball?
Los Angeles,
Nick,
in a
where do they play
$5
ball?
billion new stadium that we spent a lot of time talking about last night on the broadcast. That's where.
Oh, the roof.
That's right. That's right. This is Hollywood, okay? And I don't know if you guys know, but Jalen Ramsey hired Barry Nash as his acting coach. This is why he got this call. From a wide receiver's perspective, we get it. When you look at the letter of the law, it was a good call. But when you dive deeper, what do you want me to do, Mr. Ref? Like, he has my hand. This is hand combat. He engaged me. How do I get my right hand away from him? Michael did exactly what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to hold him off and then extend at the last minute. So, this was a terrible call, but there's so many other things we can get into here, Nick. I just think that if we want to see this outcome change, then they need to look at the letter of the law.
It's just so difficult for referees to make this type of call because you got two guys running down the field, hip to hip, and of course they're gonna get tangled up. But I thought Gallup had Ramsey beat. Ramsey did a great job of, doing what great cornerbacks do. They put themselves in a position where they can get a call like that. He flopped a little bit. He sold it, and it worked out. And if I'm, as a quarterback, of course, I would, err on the side of this being, defensive pass interference, if anything. But, it was what it was. And I honestly think the game should have never came down to that. It was other opportunities for Dallas to win the game. I just don't think they came through it at the moment of truth, on various situations after turnovers and, having short fields, so, it should have never came down to this. And unfortunately, when you put the game in the hands of a ref, you don't know what can happen. So they got to deal with the consequences of this one, and they got to, move on to the next.
Brandon, I got a question for you. Flopping. Everybody says it's flopping or referee manipulation, right? Soccer is number one, king of the flopping mountain. Basketball,
yes.
My guy Marcus Smart, probably number two. Framing pitches in baseball, I could call it number three. But I think football's pretty far down. So when you saw this from Jalen Ramsey, it's a pivotal play. But do you have an issue with him selling it like people sell calls in other sports?
No, I don't. I mean, the game, man, it comes down to inches. It comes down to one or two moments in the game. This is a savvy player. He's now considered a vet. So he did it right. All the good cornerbacks, they're taught. They're taught to key on certain triggers. If the wide receiver's eyes get big, go after their hands. If the wide receiver stops pumping his arms in a running motion and he goes out, then grab his arms. So Jalen Ramsey is playing his keys here. He did a good job, but they're taught to do this. And that's why wide receivers and the maturation of a wide receiver, what you have to do is you have to work on late hands. Don't give up any type of tendencies. Don't make your eyes big because you know the ball's coming. Don't stop running, pumping your arms in a running motion because the defensive backs are looking for that. So what you do is you late hand it. Instead of trying to catch the ball by your helmet, you wait until the very last minute to throw your hands out there. And that's where you see guys catch the ball in tight coverage and then separate. So Michael Gallup, he will learn from this and he will continue to mature because this is a number one receiver here in my eyes.
So listen, this same call was made on George Kittle in the Super Bowl. It was questionable then, it's questionable now. I'm sure Michael Irvin is watching that and saying, if that's OPI, then I have 0 career catches. Because that was how Michael Irvin in Dallas made all his money. I am stronger than you, I'm going to hold you off. But listen, there are 3 hard and fast rules in the NFL the last few years. And folks just need to understand them. The first one is you can't slow down the Kansas City Chiefs offense. The second one is if Tom Brady plays poorly, it's everyone's fault but him. And the third one is questionable pass interference calls are going to go the Rams' way. Like, it doesn't matter what the rule is, doesn't
Yes.
matter what the year is. Oh, there's a controversial pass interference call. Guess who the beneficiary is? Offensive, defensive, doesn't matter. It's the Rams. So you need to know that going in. So here's what you can do, to Mike's point, to make sure it doesn't come down to that. Hey, Mike McCarthy, on 3rd and 6 in the red zone, in the 4th quarter when you're trailing, don't call a halfback draw. Hey, Mike McCarthy, when your defense makes a great play, stopping Malcolm Brown out on the edge on 3rd and short, and there's 3:10 left in the game, and you have a timeout left, use it. And if you're not using it there and you're saving it for offense, when you get on offense in that last drive, remember that you have it. I don't know what video Mike McCarthy was watching in that barn in Appleton, Wisconsin. Maybe he was watching with sound off and he forgot, oh, timeouts, that's a thing. That's a thing. The head coach, when I'm the head coach again, I have timeouts. Because in that last drive, you saved a timeout. Why? To either set up a field goal, or if your quarterback gets sacked. His quarterback got sacked and he didn't call timeout. Then Dak ran and the clock's running. He didn't call timeout. Then they run a handoff to Zeke and he didn't call timeout. So what is good for Dallas, they have a big matchup coming up next week. They'll go into the first half there with 4 timeouts. It should help them. But for this week, the hell are you doing, McCarthy? Hey, Cowboy fans were so certain everything was going to be better now that Jason Garrett's gone. You're running draw plays on 3rd and 6, and you're taking timeouts home with you. It's same old story, and I don't know how with this offense, Mike, you score 3 second-half points. I don't know how that happens.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.